Edit. Okay, so this channel, I say it every time, I will continue to say it because I think it's just, it's the whole purpose of this channel. This is a channel where we are building a vintage wrestling collection. We've been doing it for going on 3 years. Um, there are rules though. I cannot use the internet to find things, and I cannot order them through the mail. So to build this collection, I need to go physically hunt these things down, hold them in my hand, see them before I purchase them. That is the only way anything has made it into this collection. I can proudly say every single thing that you see and will ever see here was bought by me in person. I hunted it down. I found it. That's how I got it. So, had a pretty good one the other day, and because of it, we got some good stuff to check out. So, let me set these lights a little bit, and we will get into it. Give me just a second. Alright, I gotta grab a couple of these because a couple of them have already made it into my displays. I wasn't even gonna show them, but I think it's only fair to show all of it so I can show you. I don't often get really big hauls of stuff. Oh no. Oh no. Well, got something to do later. But this time I definitely did. So that Rollins figure that we found. Actually, we'll slap these on stands. So I did. What happens? I ended up going to a flea market and I stumbled across figures in a spot I've never found them before. I've been to the flea market multiple times before, but never find any figures there. Didn't expect to find any this time either. So was pretty surprised when I did. Kind of stoked. So all of those are a mixture of stuff from the 90s and some modern stuff. So if you know anything about the modern stuff, I kind of need your help because I am lacking with knowledge of the modern day stuff. All of my stuff that I know of and that I really have any knowledge on seems to be vintage stuff. So yeah, let me get into it. So first we came across some Mattels. We have that's Seth Rollins in really good shape. One of the little things here on the back though popped. And so it doesn't really close up the best on the vest. Closes one of them, but yeah, a few dollars is what I ended up giving for that one. This one I think is Roderick Strong. I don't know a lot about these modern day figures, so again, if you know anything, you may be able to teach me something. But I did find a lot of stuff that I do have some knowledge on. So let's get into those, and we'll discuss. So let me see what's in the camera view, because if I even have to move some of it, I guess I do. So we found that Randy Orton and that Bobby Lashley. So check this out. These are Ruthless Aggression figures. If you check the date on the bottom, date says 2003, Jakks Pacific. So what's really cool is, they moved from doing LJN figures to Hasbro's, to Bendy's, to Bone Crunchers. Then you started getting all this extra articulation with these, where they, uh, like, all in all, probably the most playable figures that they've ever came out with. Nowadays, I think they're too articulated, and so just not my favorite. But here, you had all the movement that you need, and it's not like floppy and like too much. So these figures would be the ones that you see along the edge here. These Heat figures. And I guess knock anything over and it's not too dark. If you look up there's a couple WrestleMania at the top. And then I got a couple of the original ones that are, no, those are Titantrons. So, yeah, I think that's about it for Jakks Pacific. Oh, if you look back in that corner there, right there, is the Series 1 Bret from the very first series. So, I found first, this is what I got. I bought the Mattel Classics. I believe this is the, what up, Uncle Fella? I believe this to be the steel cage ring. And the only reason I think that for sure is because if you look, it's got a couple of the steel cage pieces to them still on it. There's only two of them. There's one on that corner and one on that corner. So unless there was a different attachment that I don't know about, you'll have to let me in on that. There's nothing on the skirts. They're all plain. So, yeah, I believe this to be the Steel Cage Classic. But, I have a Steel Cage ring over here that is set up. And I'm missing two of the little pieces. So I'll actually use those. But there's the original Steel Cage one. I have so many rings now, I'm going to have to stop buying the rings because I just have too many of them. I can't display them anymore, so that's going to be a problem. I see you have a lot of old action figures. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, here's something that's not... This is the only action figure in here that is not wrestling. I think I have like a hidden Star Wars Bendy that's hidden somewhere, but this, I feel like he's allowed to go with the wrestling stuff. I can't store that one away. That's the original Rambo. I don't even know what year that would be from. It's very old though. And again, I only collected vintage. That was the whole purpose, but then I started the YouTube channel and a lot of the viewers like modern day stuff, so I started buying modern day stuff just to appease them a little bit. So let me show you something. I showed you the Bobby Light, but let me show you this. Here's the Orton. And where I said the playability is you get all this that you didn't get before. They bend at the wrist, the hands spin, knees bend, the feet, not all of them, but a lot of them go back to back. They got ankles now, so just so much better. I remember that time when they switched. It was a bit of a shock, but they did a good job in my opinion. I'm a big fan. So a lot of times, the difference that you're going to catch on the deco is going to be on the back of the trunks. They did all the tattoos for Orton on that one with the Lashley. And again, these are from 2003. So if you look, you can barely see just the edge of it right here. These. Not the one there on the end. these. Forget this one. That Triple H is a Ripped and Ruthless from Jax. But these are called Havoc Unleashed. And I believe they were sold at like the dollar store and stuff. So the crazy part is, at the same time that they're releasing these that are super articulated, way cooler than anything we had ever got before, at the same time, they put out these, which, let me show you. Let's grab the Lashley. So no bends in the elbows, all hard plastic. They're not even bone cruncher style to where it's got rubber arms, which is crazy. But the thing that's often kind of off with these is that they didn't do deco. They would just give them plain black trunks. But I found this one, and they actually did the deco for Bobby Lashley here. So if you look, these are basically the same figure put out in 2003 at the same time, and they did decent. I mean, if you compare them side by side, they didn't do Lashley's tattoo on his arm, but like I said, with these Havoc Unleashed figures, they were like for dollar stores. So people were getting them for really cheap. Here's another one that they actually did the deco on. Look, they put his little, there's Batista. I have a Men on Card Batista right there. Or hang on, my bad, right there. So they put his little belly tattoo, shoulder tattoos, even his big back tattoo. But again, nothing on the trunks. And then I'll show you some of these other ones, so you can see that I wasn't just BSing about the deco thing. Here's a Kurt Angle. Nothing. Matt Hardy. Nothing. I'll show you one of the Cenas because they're both the same. The other one's just in blue, okay? So, nothing. Even the Triple H. Nothing. I have two different Triple H's. At least it's got two different head scans for it. Here's the other one. There's no deco. And that's a Rob Van Dam right there. Also, no deco. So, you had to appreciate your, Ruthless Aggression figures because they were just such a step up. So, not only did I buy the ring, I got 4 figures with it, which was this one, and these two Mattels that are right. Seth Rollins and Roderick Strong, I do believe is what his name is. So those 4 ring, I think I paid $30. So I basically bought the figures at like $7 a piece and then got the ring for free. So pretty good deal. Worth getting in my opinion. Another thing that I've got that I never did make a video on is I finally gave in. I'm not collecting Pops. I don't care. But these are what Pops wish that they were. So back in, let's see, 2000 and, shoot. It's got to be here somewhere. How did I not see it? It's here somewhere. I found it before. has to have a year. Okay, 2006. They started coming out with these. Jakks Pacific did, which Jakks Pacific is my favorite. Mattel's cool. Everybody can like it if they want, but Jakks Pacific is my favorite. They came out with these, which is what Funkos wish they were. Kind of cool. So they're called Vinyl Aggressions. And they did some specialty ones, which I guess this is one of them, of Triple H. This is from Series 3, and the Umaga is from Series 1. You'll see a lot of times I will, if I decided to buy one or got such a good deal on something that I finally did buy one, I will always try to get another one to like make at least two in the collection so they can balance each other. I have a weird, whatever. But, so 4 and the ring, I paid $30. Here's the other thing. One of the other things I found is this. The big gold belt. It's in really good shape. I believe this is maybe 2000, let's see, 2008, 2000, somewhere around 2000, 2008 or something. So, if you look, I have this, but I have it NWO, and Mattel makes this, so this one goes with that one. You'll say, don't you already have this, because you'll see this one, but this is from Jakks Pacific. It's styrofoam for the belt. This is like a leather. I actually have another one right up there too. So, yeah. I came across a couple new belts over here recently. One of them I haven't even shown. I found the tag team belts. So, yeah, kind of cool. So I got this belt, those figures. Should we put the belt in the background maybe? Probably just gonna take up a bunch of space for no reason. Yeah. It's not even in the shot. And then I bought all these figures that you see in the bag. So, let's do this. Let's finish this up. I think there's 5 or 6 figures. First, all these I paid like $7 for. First, you got the Titantron, which, in my opinion, some of the greatest figures ever made. Some of my favorites. I think Bone Crunchers may be my favorite, but Jakks Pacific just in general, incredible. So I've found this figure multiple times before, but kids always, like I said, no internet, no mail order. If I can't find it, I don't get it. So kids would always rip the hair off this one, because it comes off pretty easy. They did a great job with it though. I think he may have came with an apple too. So, I don't know about that part, but you can see the little apple on his tights. Yeah. Be like a 1999 to 2001-ish figure, maybe to 2000, 99 to 2000. But really good figure. Stoked on that one. Didn't have a Carlito, needed one. Next, let's do a more modern figure. This one I bought solely, well, you know what, I'm a huge Macho Man fan. So I don't have very many Macho figures. A lot of my Macho stuff is in WCW. I don't have much of his WWF stuff. So stoked to have this. But these, let's see what year these came out. $2015. And what made these special is they weren't regular Mattels. they got a little push button. And they all do the same thing. Because I also have a rock figure right here that I got out specifically for this. Same thing. Thing on the back, the speaker, and the button. Except for on this one, the button doesn't like... So they've got good batteries in them. But from 2015 to now, what do we got? 11 years? In 11 years, it is now became a useless product because whatever mechanism that they put into them is trash. It's not good. So, but I'm stoked to, again, I had one figure, and I'm the type of person that I need two at least, so I could display them and they can offset each other and balance everything out. So yeah, got a Macho, Mattel. I don't know what they're categorized as specifically, but now here is one that I don't think I had in my collection, and I'm really stoked about because I have Randy Orton figures, but they're in my Ruthless Aggression set, and I didn't have a Titantron Randy Orton. So really stoked on this. Somebody's got the knee pads knocked all the way down, but whatever. We could fix that later. Actually, I don't even know if he's supposed to have knee pads. I'll have to look it up. But here it is. Pretty good likeness. This is when they started doing the real scan technology. So this says Orton on his trunks. Yeah, really good figure though. I am stoked on that because again, that's another one for my Titantrons. Which, if you want to see the Titantrons, let me know. I'll show you. I'll have to get the scuffs and stuff off of a few of these before I display them. But stoked on that Orton. That Orton that's an awesome figure. So I got two left. I'm going to save that one for the end. Let's do... Oh, you know who I think this is? I think... I think this may be Charlie Haas. Maybe I'm wrong. I may have to look this one up. I cannot remember the name. No, I don't think it's Haas. I don't know. Ruthless Aggression. I'm trying to think of what the name is on this one. It's not Jindrak, is it? Mark Jindrak? I don't know. I'm going to have to look this one up. The problem is there's no telling signs on any of it. And the other thing with the Ruthless Aggression figures, they often were all the same size. Like they were all jacked, they were all the same height. Like that part, not the best. But I also wanted to show you, and this is the whole reason I brought that Rock figure that's in the wheelchair over here out, is because if you display these next to each other, the Macho, you can tell how much bigger they actually are. Quite a bit. So they don't really display good with your Mattels, because Macho is like towering over the Rock there, but you know, I'll find a way to display it. So we are to the very last one. I think that is all I've got for tonight, but this one is a fun one. I want to show you the other part of this and why I bought this one. and actually was stoked to get this one. This is a Bray Wyatt, who has passed. That's such a big bummer. I think one of the few, very, very few people that actually made me interested in wrestling in the modern era. So it's just bummer to see that he's gone, but we got a lot of good figures to remember him by, and this is definitely one of them. I guess it could be like a gator or a dragon or something. I don't know what they meant for it. So we have one. This is made by Mattel. It could be the zombies. I'm not for sure. 2016. So they were doing some wild stuff around those times. You know, they were doing those talking ones that you see there. Then they started making these characters like that. And to go with it, I bought the Brock Lesnar, which may be the most absurd figure I've ever seen. And I'm kind of liking it. I feel like I passed on this figure once before, or maybe I've seen somebody else. Like somebody else seen it, or I've seen it in a video. I don't even know. But yeah, this is crazy. There's the Lesnar figure. Settle their arm. Oh, there it went. The other thing that I don't like about these Ruthless Aggression figures is that they did not put a pinhole in the bottom for stands. They're flat-footed, which is nice for posability, but that Lesnar figure is absurd. Oh, and it's not crazy to pose either. That's awesome. So, again, we are growing the biggest wrestling collection of all in-person finds. I think it's the only collection I've ever heard anybody say that no one just goes and hunts things down and collects them. Everyone uses the internet, everyone uses mail order, and I feel like when you do that, it just makes it too easy to buy everything. If you have enough money, you can have everything because it's all online. You can find it, buy it, super simple. But when you have to go hunt it and find it to get it, I think it makes it that much better. And I really enjoy the hunt too. So, I don't mind it. It's something I find fun. The not knowing. You don't know what you're gonna come across that day. You may find so much stuff. You may find nothing. Like, you never know. But such wild figures. So that's a pretty good haul, I have to say. With the ring, so we found the classic ring steel cage version, and again, it's got these little things here. That's how I know it's a steel cage. And we found the belt in the background that you see here. Found Seth Rollins, Roderick Strong, Ruthless Aggression Bobby Lashley, Ruthless Aggression Orton in the back. I think that could be, I don't know, Charlie Haas maybe? I don't think it is though. That one's got me puzzled. I gotta look that one up. But a Titantron Orton, a Titantron Carlito. Then we found that crazy zombie Brock that goes with the Bray. But yeah, good day of finds, I have to say. Some wild figures. Really cool figures. Things that I needed in my collection, glad to find. So, really stoked about it. Yeah, so if you're interested in watching someone put together and build a vintage wrestling collection with all in-person finds, subscribe. There's the bell we found. So let me pull this light and I'll give you a quick look at the room as it's being finished up. So let me step back here. Yep, there it went. So here we go. This is in 3 years we've put together this collection. No internet, no mail order. All in-person finds. Wish WWF wasn't so, or WWE wasn't so crazy about watching the old VHS. Like I would do watch-alongs or something, and we'd crack some of them open. Again, in 3 years, you can find some figures. It don't take long. Goes up there. So when I say I got too many rings, there's 2 of them there. There's one. There's 3 of them on the ground there. There's a couple. There's one. There's 2 down there. There's 2 there. There's another one there. So, yeah, I've got enough rings. I need to chill on buying rings. I don't need any more. The Titantron there. We got some statues of Taker. Old knockoff stuff. Some lucha stuff. Muscles. Nintendo games. The worst game maybe ever, but I had to have it. Pro Wrestler. Or just Pro Wrestling is what it is, yeah. And that's the tag team one. I don't know why it's... Let me do something real quick. I could have waited to do that until later, but whatever. It's gonna end up knocking something over. Oh, there's a little mini ring there too. Oh yeah, I have other rings too that are miniature. But yeah, some modern day stuff over here. There's some legends. There's the Ruthless Aggression figures up there on top. I just put that together, the loose ones. I got some new ones to add to it. And over here, I feel like most people like the look of the room, the at the end of the videos the most. So you got WCW here. Try to hold my arm steady. Oh, the Rock coin purse. The world's smallest Stone Cold Steve Austin. Bungees. Does anybody remember that game? There's one loose of an Austin. Men on card Bone Crunchers. A Slammin' Action Taker from Jakks Pacific. 2-pack. I opened those Ripped and Ruthless, the Hunter right there. I opened that one. There's the box. They come with a card, a collector card. And I actually opened that Kane, which was the very first Kane figure with a removable mask. And there's a Legends Snuka, Superfly Jimmy Snuka back here, still in box. Yeah, there's other men on card stuff down here. Like there's a Stephanie. We got Rumblers down here. That is the entire WCW card collection. The last of the Bone Crunchers with the extra action feature. Maximum Sweats back there. The women. Stomp and Slammers and Ring Giants and NWO pennants. Those figures are sick. The finishing moves. There's some Jakks Classics here. The ECW belt back behind the WCW there. So belts, we got one there. There's one up behind those. Got one there. Got one there. I don't think I have any of them on the display. I think this is the rest of them. There. So this one has an upside down factory plate. If you noticed, one of these is upside down, and they must have did it in the factory. So I'm just going to leave it like that, but yeah. And the mess that I made earlier as I started the live feed. Oops. Got some TNA figs up there. Angle, AJ, some of the really good TNA from Marvel. Then you got Legends, all kinds of Mattel stuff. Cena, Warrior, Angle, Flair, Jeff Hardy back here. We got Hogan. Yeah, we got a lot of figures. So if figures interest you, especially the vintage stuff, maybe worth subscribing. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one.